Welcome into the round table in this band of misfits. Michael Vincent, Thomas Wasson, both of you guys are busy today.
Don't blame it on me, man.
All right.
It's not my fault.
All right, I won't. We're going to do our weekly edition of Good Idea, Bad Idea. 5 topics for these two people to discuss if you think this is a positive idea or perhaps a negative one. First one for both of you. Good idea or bad idea? There is a movement among some lawmakers, Western lawmakers, as well as some business people, to create a new port in a West Coast port in Coos Bay, Oregon. Would you rather see them do that or perhaps upgrade Oakland or Seattle, Tacoma, given the fact that we are seeing so much port congestion? You're seeing a shot there of that Western Oregon coastline. This is kind of where this new port is going to be when they kind of angle it into a slightly inland area. Those of you that are golf fans will realize this is also really close to Bandon Dunes Golf Resort as well. Like So, good idea, bad idea. You want to put in a brand new port, or do you want to upgrade the things around you? I'll go with Mr. Wasson here first.
Hauled out of Coos Bay before. The problem is, I'm going to say bad idea. Location is the problem here. 150 to 200 miles from any kind of civilization. They do a lot of lumber. They do a lot of other things out of Coos Bay. But at the same time, the infrastructure to support it's not there. And I don't think you're going to attract their kind of carriers. You're going to have higher costs. It's just such a weird spot to go in. That every time I took a load into Coos Bay, I thought, crap, now I got to go up to SeaTac. I got to go to Pendleton. I got to go to maybe Spokane or going to Northern California because nothing comes out of Coos Bay except for lumber.
Well, maybe imports in the future, but I agree with you. I mean, I think expansion. I think if you look at inland port relief like they did in Georgia out of Savannah, which worked out beautifully. Yeah, and they're doing. They were thinking about doing that in Utah to
and Mississippi as well,
and Mississippi as well. And I think they should look at that because I mean, you look at those cliffs there. It looks like the perfect place from a lawmaker's perspective to put a port.
Yeah, I mean, why can't we just go to Portland? Because 100 miles going north or south, you can at least reach Spokane or parts of the border next to Portland. You can have an inland port there, kind of like how Savannah pushes them up a little bit. There's opportunities within a 150-mile radius of SeaTac.
Yeah, I think the intention is good. I think the location, in my opinion, I'm not an expert in this at all, but it doesn't, I mean, infrastructure-wise, location-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. But, the A's are hoping they upgrade somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
They need a stadium.
And we can also ask Eric Kulish about the Port of Portland because, of course, he lives right across the river from that there as well. Number 2, the soap opera that is in trucking. Trevor Milton wants to use internal conversations he had with Nikola lawyers in his trial. Nikola doesn't want that to happen for fear that they may find out or that it may be determined that their lawyer gave Milton bad advice and therefore he's going to win his lawsuit or win his trial against fraud charges. This reeks of improprieties on both sides. Good idea, bad idea. Should Nikola fight the release of these conversations, thus drawing the company further into the drama, or should they cut loose? Sir.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm going back and forth.
I'm sorry. I was looking in there and you're looking at me, but it's the opposite way. Anyways, I'm confused. This is a difficult one because I hate the fact that we can, there's decisions made in legal terms based on whether somebody's allowed to talk or not talk, and we don't get all the facts and get the truth as to what's going on. So part of me wants to see the truth. Part of me wants to, have that lawyer-client privilege kind of upheld, no matter which side is trying to give that away. If I was Nikola, I would probably try and cut bait. Right, just cut loose and get out of this drama and move forward because they've done a good job of repositioning themselves and moving forward. As long as this drama hangs over them, it's kind of a dark cloud over top of them.
Mr. Wasson?
Remove the drama at all costs. He's doing a reverse attorney-client privilege by saying, I want you to hear what I told with my legal team. So, you're kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't in this situation because, he wants to get out of this. He's got a lot of bad PR already going on with the whole situation, so he wants to get rid of it. I mean, honestly, from my opinion, release it all and just be open, be honest. Say, look, we made mistakes. We got to do whatever it takes possible. Maybe it was us, it was him, a little bit of both, but in the court of public opinion, I think sometimes you have to be honest and just say, look, we done goofed, folks. Here's how we're going to get better. Cut ties with it and just go from there. See where it settles.
Can I add one more thing? Because I think we both agree on this point. At this point, it was them and Milton. It's not us and Milton. The people who are running Nikola, it's not us and Milton. It was them, right? So release it. Hey, they screwed up. We're here to fix it. We've been fixing it over the years. Let's move on.
A couple of stories that we've already talked about today. I want to get your take on FMCSA looking for comments on whether or not load boards should be reclassified as brokers. OOIDA and trucking associations say no. Truck safety groups and those concerned about load board scamming say yes. Good idea or bad idea, Mr. Wasson?
Load boards are like content moderation. Honestly, it's a hard thing to say. Some of these load boards, the data sucks as it is, even when you're not trying to scam carriers. TQL would post on a certain load board that must not be named many times, and they automatically posted it from their TMS. And so you'd see them flood the market with these duplicate posts in the first place. I mean, I've been a broker. I've had load board posts where I forgot to take them down. And so it puts load boards in a weird situation. They're not really geared up to moderate most of their stuff. It's a free-for-all Wild West. That's why you still pick up the phone and start dialing. So I would say don't categorize the load board as a broker, because it's not a broker. It's a third party. It's up to you as the person trying to book from the broker. Now, they'll pull posts down, which they're supposed to do, but we should focus more on punishing the brokers who are taking advantage of the system, gaming these load boards and doing that before we take advantage. It's like the marketplace. You got a bad vendor. You're trying to get the vendor out. Let's not burn the marketplace down.
Mr. Vincent.
Yeah, I agree. They're not brokers. I think it's a bad idea to do it. It creates another slippery slope where we've let the regulations come into another part of our business where it really doesn't need to be if we just police ourselves. One, don't use a load board that allows that type of practice to go on, right? If you're going to build a load board, don't allow people just dump boards and loads and test the market and stuff like that, because you're exactly right. The volumes there they're not real. Truck to load ratios off of load boards are completely bogus. The other thing is, if you got a load board, I do not disagree with the fact that if you're going to allow a carrier to work on there, or you're going to post loads on there, that there is some responsibility in checking to make sure that you've got a legitimate person posting on your website, or legitimate company.
Right.
But I don't think that calling them brokers solves what they're trying to solve.
Right. All right,
which is the double brokering, illegal double brokering.
Right, illegal double brokering. Yeah. Okay, by the way, I'm coming to you first on this next one, just so you're not
so I won't be confused by the whole left-right thing.
So there's a bill looking at speed limiters for trucks. Some say it's a good that trucks would have these to slow them down, like OOIDA, saying this, or some say it's a bad idea. Others, like OOIDA, saying that having speed differential between cars and trucks makes things more dangerous because that it obviously increases the likelihood of more side-by-side encounters between trucks and faster-moving cars. Good idea or bad idea on speed limiters, Mr. Vincent?
I think they're a bad idea, to tell you the truth. I think they're a bad idea. I don't think they solve what they think they're going to solve. It's a speed differential that makes that stuff happen. And when you've got somebody driving, like we talked about earlier in the program, when you've got states with varying miles per hour, you've got trucks that are limited to 15 and 20 miles below the actual posted speed limit, which causes a bigger differential in the speed between the four-wheelers and 18-wheelers, which causes more havoc. And severity of crash between 68 and 75 miles an hour isn't the same as the severity of crash between 65 and 45, which is where they're going to make up their time because they can't do the speed limit in the other ones. Plus, it's really aggravating to be behind a truck that's going 68 and a quarter, passing a truck that's doing 68.
Yes. Mr. Wasson?
That's a horrible idea unless you're a large carrier. Clash of the Titans here. Large carriers want speed limits. I want more restrictions because dang you pesky owner operators and other small carriers getting to drive 65 and 75 miles per hour with your no governors. I despise you. So yeah, you're going to see from large carriers, I want to see more speed limiters because I want to push you out of the market. I have thousands of loads. If I push 10,000 loads a week, do you think I care how fast that truck runs? No, I do not. Because guess what? I'm going to keep filling the bucket. And so smaller carriers, I've seen it. The state of California is 55 miles per hour. I've had many drivers get pulled over going 65 miles per hour in the state of California. We already see firsthand what happens when you have a situation where you have restrictive hours of service because of VLT, and we want to make you drive slower. I mean, in my opinion, how about we focus on more proactive things? There's a lot of safety measures inside these trucks. Let's not impede the flow of traffic, like you said, like Michael Vincent said, causing the potential for more accidents just because we're trying to solve a problem. I don't think lowering the speed, to me, it just seems like a little bit of an overreach because there's a problem. How about we work on improving conditions, improving our infrastructure, and having a situation where we don't have to create it in the first place?
All right.
Agreed.
Last one, folks. A new study says medicinal marijuana may reduce the amount of crashes for truck drivers, yet marijuana is a prohibited substance and is almost 4 times likely to be the culprit in a positive drug test. The study was made over a course of 8 states, 6 of which had lower crash rates between, I believe it was 2004 and 2019. 2 had higher, one of them being Nevada. What do you think? Should the Department of Transportation take a medicinal marijuana off of its banned substance list, Mr. Wasson?
I'm pretty sure if you are in a state that has legal recreational marijuana, it says do not operate a motor vehicle. I'm pretty certain on that. And so it's a weird situation where, okay, we know drunk driving's bad, but if they're driving stoned, maybe they're driving slower because they're driving slower because they're impaired people. That's why
That's because they're paranoid, dude.
You're
they're really attentive.
If you're really, really baked and you're driving, of course you're going to drive slower because you don't want to crash.
Well, you can't hear the stereo as well when you're driving fast.
I don't know if we allow people to drive while they're really stoned, you're opening up a whole new can of worms because do you want to make them more paranoid? I don't want to run into somebody. There's your speed limiter, I guess. Good idea. Let's not move it to 55 miles per hour. Let's just let drivers get really stoned and then drive slower.
Change it to 35, let them all get baked, and we'll be fine, man.
Hey, they'll go 55 on their own at that point.
Mr. Vincent?
Okay.
I know you and Dooner talk about this stuff a lot.
No comment. Last time I was driving with Kevin Hill. No, just kidding. It is. I don't know. What was the question?
Should the DOT remove remove marijuana from its banned substance list? So
in legal states and stuff, I do. Mm-hmm. We don't care if a driver goes and gets blacked out drunk tonight, as long as he's not when he's driving. But for some reason, we care if he smoked a bowl 2 weeks ago, because that's how long it can stay in your system. Is quite a while, and so for some reason we care. The report that came out that says, "Hey, legalized marijuana reduces crashes." I think every one of those researchers ought to be banned from the colleges and universities they're in. There's nothing that links those two together other than, hey, crashes went down in these states and marijuana was legalized in these states. One of their arguments was that there's longer stretches of open road in Las Vegas, and therefore there's more crashes. What? What? Less cars on the truck and longer there.
Well, the argument was that it's more populous, especially in Las Vegas.
Well, in part of it, right?
Where else you can live in Nevada?
Exactly. Well, Sparks maybe, but it's it's too spurious for me. So I don't buy the whole report. I think it's bogus.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, and yeah, man. I mean, who cares if the driver? I'm pro legalizing marijuana because the
driver does if they get ticked from the.
Well, yeah, of course they do, but the only reason they are is because they were high yesterday. It's like School of Rock. What does it mean when you have a hangover?
All right, we'll have to wrap it up there, and we'll take a short break. Thank you so much for joining us for Good Idea, Bad Idea, and we'll wrap up the show right after this.